Alright, well I'm back here to do a little bit of cam timing today. I have to take some paces off here because I was getting excited and wanted to look at things. Yeah, so I've got all my cam timing stuff. I put a piece of rubber and this is how I do it. I use the clutch bolt because it's hard to find a bolt that goes in there, or a nut that goes on this. So I use a clutch bolt. This is a degree wheel that I got a million years ago. And pretty much all I'm trying to accomplish here with the zip ties and the rubber band is that this can't move once I get started here. This degree wheel has to, like that. See, it can't move. What do I need here? I need to hang this somewhere. Can I hang off that screw? That screw looks... Good rule of thumb on these is use the right bit. If you try to use the wrong bit and force it, you wish you wouldn't have. Gonna want this to be kind of up here where these numbers are, because I'm gonna have to make, you're gonna have to count those exactly. So, okay. This is probably gonna get confusing for some. Others that know what I'm doing are gonna be like, you're doing it wrong. You're both probably right. You're both hopefully have a good time watching me do this. Okay. Pushing on a valve here, and when we're pushing on those valves, it wants to just pop this sprocket. There's no tension here to hold this yet. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this tensioner, kind of like what I showed you guys. Flip the latch up, latch goes up, squeeze that, push that all the way in, latch down. Because I've worked that latch, I'll be able to get this all the way in. As I'm doing that, you'll see that the chain is getting tighter. Hydraulic tensioner release. Hopefully the chain don't jump. I'll show you this. This is your indication that you're right there. See that? The exhaust is touching. Intake basically touching. Now we'll measure it one last time here. We'll pop over to here now. We're hitting our dealio here. Do a little bit tight here, so we're probably off just a touch there, and that's where we ended up. We ended up 114 on the center line. How did we get to 115 and a half on the exhaust though? Am I off a tooth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Huh. Well, 115 and a half. Alright, That's where we're leaving it. The overlap's what I really wanted. It's not quite in the right spot. What if I open that up to 8? There you got it. I'm gonna take all this stuff apart, put it away for the next time. All right, here I am. It's the next day. Cam timing is done. Was done. I hate that I'm this way. I hate that I'm this way. I want to change, but I lost sleep. I lost sleep over that half degree. I need to go and roll that exhaust cam a little bit more than what the slot allows. And like I said, this motor will run like a raped ape, just the way that it sits. I'm going to pull this all back apart. I'm going to go and slot that cam wheel just a little bit more. We're going to get that exhaust valve closing just a little bit sooner than what it is. And that ought to keep the throttle response peppy out of this thing. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to go grind a gear. We're going to roll this motor over a little bit. Alright, so here I am just finishing up the top of this motor. I got done doing the cam timing. I didn't measure it all out because I like to know exactly where everything's sitting at, and I got all done measuring it all out, and it turns out that the Hurricane timing jig was perfect. It was perfect. The jig got me right there on its own. So pretty crazy. Alright, so here's where we're at. Cam timing's done. Took me about a day. I set up the dial indicator here and here. Found out where the valves are over. And you know what? This is not necessarily how to do valve timing. This is how to do valve timing on a snowmobile motor. Just this motor in particular. And I'm going to show you on top here. So these are your timing marks here. There, you see I've rotated both of those inwards. Now, on an Apex motor, if you're building yourself an Apex, they rotate away from each other, not towards each other. The motor turns a different direction. This one turns backwards to that. So in the future, if I'm building a nitro motor, Hurricane sells the head shim, Hurricane sells the timing jig, and Hurricane sells slotted cam gears. So you don't even have to get all willy-nilly with the grinder like I did. You can just have professionally slotted gear. And you probably just burp. And this is not advertisement for Hurricane performance by any means, but I don't think it's any secret that they build fast motors and they know their way around a nitro motor or a Viper motor or an Apex motor for that matter. Valve timing set now. Really at 8,000 RPMs, 9,000 RPMs, we're going to be hanging out. Does it really matter when they open and close? No, it does not. The thing that really matters is the overlap. Probably not going to get a whole lot of power out of this just by doing the valve timing change that I've done, but we will get more throttle response, I'll bet. We're going to find out. And the reason that I get OCD about this kind of stuff is I don't build this stuff to watch somebody else ride it. I'm building this thing to take it up the biggest, steepest mountains that the Pacific Northwest has to offer. This thing will spend large durations of time at wide open throttle. I'm not a fan of letting up. I like to let these things eat as much as I can. Now, coming off a two-stroke turbo Dave, I've been able to go and keep that two-stroke wide open. Broke it on Sunday, had it fixed by Wednesday and running by Wednesday. Unfortunately, when you break a four-stroke, can't get them back on the road quite as fast. It takes a little bit more effort. Unless you just have a ready-to-go motor to swap in. We do right here. So this is getting swapped in. I will get this motor in the next few days. Problem is now the sled doesn't have a suspension anymore, so it's kind of just here propped up on jacks. So I might have to get the rear suspension back together first, but that's a whole nother build in itself. I'm not slowing down. Either the motor's going in or the suspension's getting built and it's going in. One of those are happening. Once the motor goes in, we'll get fuel system happening. I'm also having to do, I'm gonna do a tunnel cut on this thing. So anyways, that's where we are. Top end's done. Shout out to Hurricane. Use these guys if you're doing this. It'll save you time and money. Later.